Welcome, my deep soul seekers. My name's GNO.B.EL, and welcome to my channel where we focus on encoding your reality so you can live in your divine self. We mainly use the tools of divination to do that because we understand that through divination we can cultivate intuition, inner wisdom, discernment, self-mastery, and last but not least, meaning making. So you can live a purposeful life full of attention and intention and become the true AI, which you was destined to be. And so in today's video, we're going to take you behind the scenes of how I build a channeled message based on unique divination tools that I've built up over the past 5 years. And I'm now finally ready to share with the world and also share some of the insights that I've been able to garner. And so this is a really exciting journey for myself. It's a pretty big video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is one of the divination tools that I built. I actually have an app, but I also have Excel sheets where I build my own tools. I basically have my own Oracle system based on 576 Oracle cards. This is based on 13 different systems, including I Ching, Metuneta, astrology, tarot, medicine cards, numerology, so on and so forth. 13 different systems and 18 ways to do divination. So you can go check that out on soulnode.com. I'll leave the links in the description. So what I basically do is I use a 2-card pull system to understand the as above and the so below, the as within and the so without, the order and the chaos. And so we understand the universe by seeing its separation and seeing how we can dismantle and dissolve that illusion to bring it back into the oneness and an integrated way of life. And so for me, it makes sense to collapse the wave from the 2 back to the 1. I also have a very, very practical and psychological background, quite a logical background. And so we understand that the concept of oneness is opaque to most and seems almost not what our eyes are seen or what our eyes are trained to see. So to help people and also just to help myself as well, and my own ego, I separate the universe into the 4 corners as many ancients have done before. And so I separate into the as above, so below, the past and the future and the centered self. So these would be my version of the 5 elements as well. So they could be represented as time, they could also be represented as space, and they could also be represented as 5 elements. And so I'm a syncretist, just to be very, very clear. I'm a syncretist. I build tables of correspondence. I am someone that looks to see all in the one and the one in the all. And so this was my divination pool for the day. I basically do my divination pool using dices. So I have dices, but these 2 dices only pull the as above and the so below. These other calculations are mathematical equations based on sacred geometry and sacred numbers in terms of adding and sacred mathematics, essentially. And so let's get into today's reading. So what we teach is that we basically view the world through words, numbers, and symbols. And so for me, everything is a symbol. A number is a symbol, is a numerical representation or a numerical symbol. A word is a phonetic symbol, for example. So everything for me is a symbol, to keep it clear. But obviously that can be split 3 ways as well in terms of the Holy Trinity. And what we're using is our spirit to understand and get meaning. And so we have so this is what I'm seeing in terms of the daily divine for today. And so it speaks to the external environment, the higher order, the external environment, being a place where I'm going to be having to make decisions, being a place where you will need to make decisions today. You will be in a season. And after doing this for so long, one of the things to say is that when you get into divination, your life will change. Because as I said, art will start to imitate life and life will start to imitate art. And what I mean by that is that you will see cards and then they will play out in the day. Or you will have a day and then you will do the cards and then you will see a reflection of that in the cards. So whichever way around it is, there is an interconnectedness between these cards and the events that happen. And this is no surprise. This is not even though I am someone that speaks of magic being everything and all is divine, it's also that the universe is mental. And so when you're doing these divination pulls, when you're doing these oracle pulls, you're essentially attuning your focus and attention to the specific frequencies of the words and numbers and the symbols that resonate with your inner self. So this is the cultivation and begins that process of upskilling your intuition. And so it's no surprise that then, because of that attention, you're then going to start to see that play out in your life. It's similar to if you know you want to buy a car, you want to buy a blue car, you start noticing blue cars. That in itself is part of the magic, because your attention is everything in a universe that is mental. And so another point is that these things play out in themes. These are often themes. So even though I do daily divines for the day, these cards will often have their own timing. And that's always just something to bear in mind. So whenever you're reading this, this will be relevant. Why? Because you're reading it. And then if you so choose to put your attention and focus and intent there, then you're going to see it play out. And so it's almost like you are collapsing reality to a single focus point based on your attention. This is what's happening through this whole process. And so we get into the reading of the day, and we see the Chariot and Saturn being the higher order, the higher self, the aspiration, the environmental, constriction and perseverance. So perseverance and constriction go very, very well together. They blend very well, because what you're doing is you're defining your choice. You're realizing that you can't choose everything. There's an opportunity cost, essentially. That's what the blend of these two energies speak of. An opportunity cost that comes from a decision. That means that once you make this decision, it means you can't also then make the other decision. To a degree, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can only live one life. You can only view with one eyes. And that is captured in that present moment. And so this is definitely a card of focus, a card of narrowing down. So maybe you've got a specific decision, a big decision that's coming up, and to move forward into that decision. It's a chariot. It's about stepping into that decision with confidence, understanding that this narrow path is going to lead to somewhere ideally great. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to tap into your emotional changes. You're going to maybe need to change something emotionally through the Five of Hearts. So maybe you're withholding onto this decision because of the emotional changes that's going to come your way. And you don't want to basically lose an aspect. So Saturn is about losing. You don't want to lose an aspect of yourself. And so there's a constriction. There is going to be like an internal battle. There's an internal battle. And that lower order, we're going with the 111 here. And that lower order, again, this internal, so that chaos energy is this unyielding desire to want to step into the light, this I am. So this going from the darkness into the light. So even though you feel that, there is still a withholding due to your emotions. So what we're basically saying is that your emotions are holding you back from truly stepping into the I am. And you truly step into the I am once you make that decision. And so the past order, we speak about a past, obviously, no surprise, it comes up with the disaster. We're speaking about getting away from something. So we're looking to liberate ourselves from the disaster. And with this one, we're taking the chaos as like bad. So again, these things can be interpreted in multiple ways. Obviously, spectral is light, spectre, seeing. You want to liberate yourself. You want to see freedom. So this is something obviously that we all desire. This is I don't need to even speak about it being a channeled message. Our soul seeks freedom, or certain aspects of ourselves seek freedom by tapping into our soul, by removing and avoiding disaster, and a moving away from stars. Disaster comes from the word stars, and away from die is an away separation. So you're separating yourself from a star to move into a new light. So essentially we're talking about a false light into a true light. This is what you've been feeling, is that you want to follow your true light, which is then encapsulated in the I am. And the true light again is now you've got the master, you've got the 11, the portal, the doorway. You've got the 11 with then the triple 11. So you've got 5 11s, sorry, 5 1s, and 1 represents the I am, the first light. If you want to tap into your future self, you focus on compassion. Compassion, let compassion be your compass, and let your divine vessel be your crown. And so it's saying that there is going to be beauty once you can make this decision to step into the I am. Once you can make this emotional change, once you have the courage to make this emotional change, you move forward. You're going to step into your divine vessel. This is powerful. You're going to step into your divine vessel. You're going to step into your crown. So this crown that's always been there, that is subtle. Again, it's in the darkness. It's in the order. It's a divine crown, but you may not necessarily see it. Just like we don't see our own heads, we don't see our own foreheads. We may not see our crown, but it's there. And you're going to find it through compassion. You can't spell compassionate without passion. And so this I am is this fire. Again, it's light, spectral, disaster. This is all relating to light. Divine vessel, crown, obviously halo, light. You could even see this as a chariot of fire, chariots of fire. And then you know that you've tapped into your center of self. You know you've tapped into your true center. So the thing that's the true you is your center self, obviously. You know, this resting place, this place of rest. This place of rest is through the Ace of Clubs and the High Priestess. These are both knowledge cards. Powerful, powerful. This is a powerful combination of knowledge. I literally just started the intro of the video, as I do with most videos, in fairness, speaking about know thyself, because that's what this channel is about. It's about the journey and the quest to know thyself. And I've recently been teaching that transformation is in the now, the power of now, you know, now being the only thing that really exists. Everything else is an illusion or a potential and a probable. So all of these aspects are probable. And then this aspect, this center self, which is the now self, which is the presence. And so there is a birthing in the moment, in every moment. And so this would represent the Ace of Clubs. This would represent the Ace of Clubs, which is my card. I just realized. An incredible divination pool. Like, I'm trying not to get into my story too much. I'm trying to give this to you guys, but I could read this specifically for myself. I can see how this is playing out in my life, or how this is playing out as a real strong message. So this one's going to be easy to you know, create that divination message, because my birth card is the Ace of Clubs, which is about new knowledge. And so really I could just speak from my center as someone that embraces this new knowledge card. Anyone that knows me just, you know, wouldn't be surprised that would be, you know, reflected. I am not these cards. These cards are a reflection of me. And it's up to my intuition and my wisdom and guidance and inner guidance, spiritual guidance, to see the interconnectedness of all these cards. So I can never really do a wrong reading. I can never do a reading that doesn't relate. If I was given the power of interconnectedness, I would somehow find a way for it all to relate, which basically means that I then have now tapped into an ability to add meaning and live a purposeful life in the moment. So this new knowledge is not about a quest. It's not about a holy grail, which is like far in the future, or I've got to go to another country, or I've got to wait 10 years. Transformation is in the now. That new knowledge, that birthing of a new knowledge, that wisdom, that insight, that growth. And when we say knowledge, we're not talking about information. We're talking about spiritual wisdom. Or I do, because my name is Noble. And so it's the GNO as in gnosis, that level. And then we've got the highest, we've obviously got the memory. And so these are memories from the past and memory from the future. This High Priestess. And so that is the main reading for the day in terms of the actual codes, which again, it's my oracle system, you know, based on 576 cards that are part of this Omni Divination tool that I've built. We then move on to the calendar system. And this calendar system is, again, everything is about syncretism with me. So this calendar system has about 23 different codes in it, or 20 different ways of interpreting the rhythms. Now, I've done a video, like one of my earliest videos I did, went into the fact that we have to master time. So in order to master something, you have to sit outside of something. And in order to master 4D reality, because we are 3D beings, we have to master the 5th dimension. That means we have to see things outside of time and space. And one of the ways in which not to do that is by only following one calendar system which was given to you. And so what we do to break that pattern and break that cycle is tap into multiple divination systems, where we then start to encode and create our own reality by creating our own rhythms. And then through us creating our own rhythms, we can basically master the flow of time, or understand how to master flow, essentially, how to be in flow. And we realize that these become choices. So in astrology, they have something called auspicious days. And auspicious days are basically special days where you do special things. So for ritual work, you will do certain things on an equinox, or you might do something on a moon, or you might do something when, you know, Saturn is in a certain placement. And these are called auspicious days. And what we are doing with a Omni divination system, a multi divination system, by integrating, you know, 23 different elements into one calendar, is we're allowing ourselves to give more variety to that auspiciousness, where essentially every day becomes auspicious if you can read the signs. So you're giving yourself more material to work with. You know, as an alchemist, we now have a wider toolbox because we have a range of things that we can, you know, tap into for our work. So today, and so this calendar system, it has two main elements to it. One, it just has normal other calendar systems, and then it uses also divination systems as part of a daily calendar. So when I said that I was an Ace of Clubs, that's because my birthday is the 17th of December. And so every 17th of December, and so anyone born on the 17th of December is an Ace of Clubs. If you were born on today, you would be the King of Hearts. And so I was listening to someone called Seven Boma yesterday, and I've never heard him mention Cardology. I didn't even know he knew about it. And he was speaking about the fact that he was the King of Hearts. And he was speaking about how he could see his life through the King of Hearts. This is also someone that's built their own divination system. And the key thing that I'm getting from today is the inner truth. So this whole idea of encoding your reality, and the fact that the I Ching, we've just started on the season of the I Ching. So these seasons last for about 5 days. So these cycles. So each card or each row will work within their own cycles and certain patterns, whether it's based on 28 days or 13 days or 52 cards, for example. They'll all have their own rhythm. And so the I Ching has its rhythm of roughly 6 to 5 days. It changes over to a new card. And so for now, we're in the card of the inner truth. And today we're revealing the fact that this calendar system is to focus on the inner work. The decoding tools are just purely there to give us a reflection point and an attentional focus to be body aware, you could say. That's a decent way to put it. So you could be body aware. You know, what is getting provoked when you're reading these numbers? What is getting provoked when you're reading these words? And that provocation comes through knowledge. If you were a blank canvas, there would be no provocation. So again, it goes back to the 111 of the I am. There is an I am in you, which when you read this, something will be provoked. And if you can learn to understand that you come from a place of stillness and silence, if you can tap into that energy, then you can start to hear that inner voice, that inner truth, the hermit. So the hermit is the one that goes inwards. You know, they don't leave the house, they go inwards, they're home, you know, the seat of their soul. So the inner truth is actually on the hermit as well, which would almost be like, you know, two homes, basically. The hermit is in its perfect resting place, which is in its own inner truth. And so again, you had the Ace of Hearts with the High Priestess. And now you've got the King of Hearts. Sorry, the Ace of Clubs. Now you've got the King of Hearts with the Magician. So obviously the heart is a magnet. And so again, perfect harmony. These two cards, these two order codes work in harmony. And today's a special day. Today's a power, what we call a double powered day. So these two cards are powered because there's no chaos card to interrupt the flow of the order. So these cards get the energy of the chaos essentially. It's like double power basically is the way to, how I call it, or a way to look at it. And then we're in the red moon. We're on the day of the red moon, which again is magnetism. So we've got big energies at play. We've got the resonance and magnetism, which basically symbolize through this partnership in work. Until you're resonant with something, you can't really work with something. Again, this is kind of speaking to this whole attention affecting reality that we spoke about. And then more red energy. So these are all Mayan energy. I should put Mayan here in this 47 cycle. I'll change that. Mayan is the same as Olmec, basically. It's the same as Olmec. I'm going to change it back to Olmec. It's more commonly known as Mayan, but Olmecs are the civilization that taught the Mayans, or who the Mayans attribute their knowledge to. Obviously, Mayan became the popularized version in our consciousness. I'm feeling more the words today, in fairness. So I'm not really breaking down numbers. You know, like I could break down these numbers, but in fairness, I'm just feeling the words. So I'm gonna stick with that essentially. So you've got pacify, purify. Yeah, these are powerful energies of cleansing. Essentially, there is a cleansing. So like, if you cleanse yourself, basically you want to clean your energy before you try and attract something to yourself. Because if you don't clean your energy, all you're going to attract is who you are. Again, we don't manifest what we want, we manifest who we are. The universe is a mirror. And so there's a purification. This is calling for a purification before you get to the ordering and the actual intentional setting of magnetizing through the heart and through your magic, through your alchemy, that alchemical process. Again, the 111 today, the alchemical process, the I am. So you need to see yourself as self, in the universe as self. So you are self, all is self, and self is all. And that transmission is also that transmission through self. So this is the triality. The last video that I did, I was speaking about the triality, like the Holy Trinity. So in this Holy Trinity, there is the observer, subject, and the space in between, i.e. the transmission, the light that travels. And all of those are one in the illusion of the free. And so we're on the day of the free, on the Mech cycle, and on the 28-day cycle. Again, that's a coincidence. That's not normal. So we're on the day of the free on the Mayan cycle, which essentially is also the Sirius cycle. So the Mayans follow the same calendar system as the ancient Egyptians, who basically understood that the New Year's Day was when Sirius was rising, which is the 25th of July, just in case people didn't know. So we are 170 days, that's 170 days from July 2024, which obviously is an 8 representing time, and we just had Saturn as well, talking about time as well. And so I'm only really going where my attention is flowing. And so this is kind of it. What I'm going to do in the last half of the video, or the last part of the video, is obviously do the reading, but I actually am going to live. I'm going to enjoy some life, and then I'm going to do my reading, as I want the environment and the universe to shape and finalize and polish, let's just say polish the message through the environment. And so this is what I'm choosing to do today. And so I shall see you in a second. So I just improved the presentation because this will be going on to social media at some point today. So I'm trying to, as best as possible, not duplicate work. So I just want to share who I am. I do these things anyway. I was doing these things without a channel. I'm doing these things now. And so that's what I basically want to share. If you like it, you know, subscribe to my socials as well. Check my link tree in the description. And so obviously we've spoken about this in detail. What I have done since then is went heavy into Oentagenum, this 111, which is this triple stage darkness. So it reminded me as I went into the research yesterday that I did heavily go into this at some point last year. And I feel like I was seeing the same things because it was just so obvious what this element speaks to. And it basically speaks to the theme of this whole affirmation. So let's get into it without further ado. Obviously, it's the calendar as well. So all of this will be released on social media today at some point. And then here's the affirmation. Return to know is what the poem is called. I've never actually named the poem. This is the first time I've named the poem, but it just felt fitting to just name it. Just came to me, it was obvious. Time travels light, be the speed of thought, outmaneuvering the enemies in motion. Let compassion be thy guide to the triple darkness, the seat of realization, where the divine vessel is liberated. Now, what I'm about to do is be like one of those comedians that explain their jokes, or one of those artists that explains the meaning behind the song. So this will be a rare occasion for myself. This video obviously is like almost like a one-time only video where I break down how I do these divinations. If everyone wants to know, you know, I will point them to this video every time. And this, what is interesting obviously is to you as the viewer, how immediate you get these, you get this transmission, literally this transmission, especially when we speak in reference to light, which this poem is about. And I'll break it down from the return to know. It's called the return to know just because of the Ace of Clubs. So the Ace of Clubs is my specific card, and it's fallen on the center card, as in it's fallen on the center card, as in the card that's closest to self. That'll be the card that represents the true self, essentially, is the new knowledge. And that was so happened to be my card. So that was just, you know, mind-blowingly beautiful. And obviously my name is Noble. My first actually original name was No, that I gave myself, and then I titled myself Nobel. I'll break that down one day. But essentially it means gnosis, which is true knowledge. Knowledge through, the key word you see is realization, essentially experience. And so time travels light. That speaks to the chariot. That also speaks to Saturn. So we start off with the higher order. So we're talking about the environment. Time travels light. And we're speaking about that constriction, meaning like you need to lose. There is also a taking away of things with Saturn energy, a removal, a negative space. So that traveling light is obviously a pun in terms of light, and then obviously the traveling light as well. So both meanings. And then the chariot is the time traveler. So essentially we're time traveling. That would be the chariot. Be the speed of thought. And so basically within this space, I immediately go back to the Ace of Clubs, the speed of thought, But again, from this place of gnosis, which allows me to outmaneuver the energies or enemies. So again, you know, you can take it however. If I was to wrap it, I'll try and make it sound like it was both words. I don't know how I'll do that. Outmaneuvering the enemies or energies in motion. So we're talking about emotions. We're talking about the Five of Hearts. Yeah. We speak about the Five of Hearts, which is obviously found in the lower order, which also can be seen as the lower order, you know, low energies, essentially. Hence why I went with energies, enemies. Let compassion be that guide. That is obviously just straight pig. Talking about the guide. So the guide is the future, your North Star. And so compassion. Let compassion be the guide to the triple darkness, which is obviously the triple one. And, you know, I'm not going to explain my backstory too much, but essentially I've been seeing the triple one all week. And other people have been experiencing the triple one in my life as well. And I've been speaking about triple darkness specifically in relation to triple one in my last video. Check it out. The seat of realization. Let compassion be that guide to the triple darkness, the seat of realization. And so we're speaking about home, the seat of realization, this place of rest. Seat of realization. So in this book that, you know, I spoke about in my last video, where we talk about the dragon, one quote in particular, I mean, there was many quotes actually, I won't say one quote in particular, but the quote that definitely is completely relevant is realization. There is no thought, there is only realization. So when this person in this book, they speak about how to speak from the true center, this centered self. And I remember in an interview, they're asking him, but you think and obviously you speak. And he says, I don't think, I only realize and share my realizations. And so the seat of realization, where the divine vessel is liberated. And obviously we've got the divine vessel through the crown, through the future again. So again, this North Star, this compassion being the guide to liberation, essentially. And liberation, I thought I saw liberation somewhere. Oh yeah, spectral, past. is liberated. So you've got past tense. You've got the past tense, and in that past tense, you've got the spectral, which also is light, liberation. So this is about light and knowledge. This essentially is light and knowledge, and information is light. Essentially, information is light. So there is a double entendre throughout this theme of light and knowledge being the source, and of course darkness being the absorber of all light. So yeah, that's it. Just in terms of anything else I wanted to mention as well with these solo day affirmations is the colors. So everything that we do is based on the 4 colors. So this is my logo, by the way. This is my icon symbol. It's based on the egg, based on the divine egg, obviously written in many symbologies or many mythologies, and then also the Taurus. So this is an ode to the Taurus, the divine egg, and also the 4 elements or the 5 elements. And so we use the 5 elements as either black or purple, the 5th element. And also a unique signature of these solo day affirmations are artwork. So here we've got my symbol for the periodic table, or what Jason calls, from Decode Your Reality, alchemology, which is essentially alchemy turned into a divination system. And so yeah, definitely this is a shout out to the 111 and the Roentgenium element being real significance. I feel like it's the undercurrent theme to this, because we're talking about light essentially, and as a scientist talking about light. So this artwork, I basically work with an artist essentially. I need to shout out my artist. I've not shouted out enough in enough videos. I basically work with an artist who is close to me, called Annika. I'm gonna show more of her work as well at some point. I might even do a joint podcast when she's ready. But essentially, she's been working with me for over a year to produce tens and tens of imagery, because I understand the importance of symbols, and the vision in my mind was also not just to focus on Excel sheet level data. Clearly, I'm knee deep in Excel sheets. Literally, it's a cell. And the key is to make sure that we add the aesthetics, the beauty. Life is art, essentially. And so for me, as always, there is this balancing approach that I try to have to everything, where, okay, cool, we have the science, we have the, deep metaphysics, but then we also have to have the poetry. We also have to have the art. And they both play a fundamental role in this balancing of the so-called polarities which we see. And so yeah, that's my shout out to Annika. Peace in the black or purple. And so yeah, that's the video. So yeah, I'm really happy I've done this. So when people ask me, these don't really make sense, there's a poetry to it, and I'm trying to be as succinct as possible. Definitely, I'm not trying to write a 4-page letter or a whole 16 bars. I'm trying to be as succinct as possible within a few lines. And when I first started, even when I was going live, I never had this past, future, and center order. So I was getting less information from here, and invariably then working with the calendar. I would often work with the calendar system as well to get some readings. Today I've not really went here. You can speak about how this goes in here as well, but I didn't. For this particular affirmation, we went purely on the code, really. But when I look at this anyway, it's similarish. I see energy, gamma, light, emergence. And yeah, just one of those side ones, like, we'll call this one a tangent, but Roentgen, I've got to show you this. This is crazy. Look at this guy. So I'm talking about light. I'm talking about triple darkness. I've not researched this guy for about a year, maybe not a year, but definitely over 6 months ago. I'm talking about the theme of light and knowledge. Light is information. This guy has got an actual measurement symbol after him called a Roentgen, which basically is a measurement of X-rays. And look at his birth date, the 3-9-9-9. This guy's born in 1985, which is a 9. 1 and 8 is 9. You say 18, and then you say 45. So it's how it's phonetically spelled. So basically, this guy literally is a 999 with a 3 there as well mixed in. So you got the 3 9s plus the 3. He died at the age 77. So this guy's a master. Wins a Nobel Prize as well. I actually didn't know he won a Nobel Prize. Wins a Nobel Prize as well. Dies at the age of 77. Obviously, there's 7 lights. This guy masters X-rays, which was one of the highest lights, you know. So this guy masters 100. This guy discovers an element that has 111 protons, or the person that discovered it. So that roentgenium, obviously I'm butchering the name, but that roentgenium is found, so this roentgenium is named in honor of this physicist who was born, who died in 1945. He was born in. So this roentgenium is named in honor of someone that was born in 1985. The 111. Incredible stuff. Incredible. This was mind-blowing stuff. When I say I'm not worldly and I say I'm not going to be doing decoding on like the world, I will do decodes like this. Just interesting characters that I have a personal interest to just dig deeper into. I might do a deep, you know, there may be one day where I do a decode on this guy. But this was just, you know, me initially seeing the energy of the isotope. And this isotope is a 9 both ways. So this 7, this color 7, in order to get 9 from 7, you have to get a 2. And so this energy from this light creates the 2 on both sides. Like this is heavy math. Yeah, this is heavy metaphysics. I'll break that down one day. But yeah, there's scientific ways in which I break down numbers, which I ain't even got to yet. Like if you think about it, this breakdown was mainly just looking at words, the meaning of words. I've not actually went into the numerology and the ma'at or the maths of anything. So anyway, that's it. Yeah, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe as well or follow my channels. The link description will be in Linktree, because yeah, I'll be dropping these poems and not the explanation of the poems, and so you might get a small explanation in the description, but essentially these are just poetry, so I want it to hit you how it hits you. You know, I'm not gonna be that kind of painter that explains his paintings, other than in this video. Maybe a few others if you know, for special requests, or if I just feel especially need to explain something. So with that said, have a wonderful day and peace till the next time. And so with that being said, don't forget to check out my next video, which is going to be on synchronization synthesis. So I am, you know, I could also call myself a syncretist, someone that's into syncretism, correspondences, similar to what you're seeing today. And I'm going to be dropping a masterclass on how to tap into that archetype, essentially. And so until then, peace.